Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are back, the OJ Power Hour, and tonight, we're a little bit sorry for a bit of a delay here. We had a bit of a back and forth, some bit of technical problems. In case you don't know, I'm running the show tonight, so be scared, be very, very scared. However,
Very scared.
aren't you just adorable, Jay? However, we're going to blame Comcast? Absolutely. If I was in the States, I would too. However, we're going to cut our usual intro short. We have with us tonight the FFR and FFMQR AP Event Planning Committee. And we're so happy to have all of you aboard for tonight. So, we have, of course, myself, Jay Scheidel, myself again, and Odoron. Say hi, Odoron. He's here somewhere.
Hi, everyone.
There he is. All right. We have Scar joining us as well. Hello, Scar. How you doing? All right. Jay?
What? Who?
Well, I'm going to make you do some of the work.
You come with me do work?
Oh.
Okay, so we have also Possum Morpheus
Hello, hello, friends.
and Hebbings.
Hello.
There we go. Make you do something. So, I guess
Make me do something.
I'm done. Well, hey, listen. If I'm running the background show tonight, I can't be the constant voice. However, we digress. Yeah, so I guess I know we usually have an AP tournament every fall winter around this time.
Mhm.
So I'm looking for some insight. Why Final Fantasy Mystic Quest Randomizer this year? What was was there a decision process behind this?
It couldn't possibly be that it shares like a major developer in the name of One Wild Ham. Not at all.
No, not at all.
No, of course
Yeah.
not, of course not.
I feel like this event was his kind of brainchild and baby.
There he is. I mean, again, to be fair, the man has taken me under his wing to do help with the coding in Final Fantasy Randomizer, so I will never not sing the man's praise. Never, not once.
Oh yeah, great developer.
Top
Amazing
notch.
to work with.
Oh, no question at all.
When did you guys start talking about this? What's been like the process on getting this whole thing started before we get into it, the actual game?
I want to say we started piloting this. I want to say like 8 months ago. So when
Cool.
we started doing the monthly showcases on FFR with the AP races, is kind of like gauging the water, kind of using the test groups and be like, hey, who's interested in this? Is this going to work? What kind of flag should we use? And every month was different. It's just like, whatever you want to do, crazy settings, go for it. And then we use the racer feedback and kind of dialed it in for eventually what we're using for this tournament.
Nice.
Yeah, that's kind of a great segue from the FFR perspective. What do our flags look like for our runners from the Final Fantasy Randomizer perspective?
Oh, they look great. They make you remember certain things that don't get used to too often,
Bridge.
and then
Or
you
Melmont.
forget about them. Yeah, River to Melmond is such a lovely flag that almost never gets used.
It's true. It's very true.
Like, I ran out of boxes. Where can I? Oh, Earth.
Yeah, that's always a fun one. I also heard that
Then,
I heard you turned on a couple other interesting flags too.
yeah, we put on some alt fiends to try and increase the pool to match the amount of like bosses that Mystic Quest has, just to try and bridge the two games a little better.
I appreciate
Was
the All Fiends getting some more
that
love.
the thought to have the two party members start too? Mystic Quest has two party members. You get two party members.
Yeah, and we also did the nuns get experience just so that you don't end up like level 25 defeating your first fiend and have to decide if you want to pick up a level 1 and
Mhm.
get it up to speed.
Very fair. Very, very fair. Any other interesting flags that the FFR side has turned on?
I mean, what do you consider interesting?
Let's see. It's an Oops All Loose. What else is in here? It's a Shard Hunt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, shard hunt to match the
Fragments.
fragments. There we go.
Yeah.
Mid Topher is on.
Okay. Mid Topher fight all or fight two?
Fight all.
All.
Beautiful.
Which is really fun when you see an early fade come through.
There is also free bridge and canoe, so you can go to Melman pretty early if you want to.
Okay, so options. We always like options. So,
Mhm.
with that being said, let's go over to the Mystic Quest randomizer side of things. What flag sets turned on over there?
Oh, we've got some goodies turned on. So we're also doing a shard hunt, Shattered Sky Coin. We have to get 24 shards or fragments. We also have all 4 companions enabled, but their locations have been shuffled.
Oh, fun.
So you don't know where you're going to find them or who you're going to start with, because you do start with 1 companion. And the way they level is a little interesting. We turned on the setting, which is Benjamin's level plus 10. So there's a couple different options. There's vanilla, where you take them to an objective, they're tier 1, and then they upgrade to tier 2. But in this setting, it's basically like you start at level 1, they start at 11, and every time you level up, they gain a level. And that applies to all your partners. And to kind of add to the variety or the spice of that setting, I pitched, and I can't believe it got accepted, Spellbook Shuffle. So normally the spells are set for your partners, and they get them at certain levels. And we turned it on Safe Shuffle. Thankfully, it's not Chaos, where you're going to get you get nothing, Chief. Sorry, because that can happen with the chaotic spell shuffle. No, we made it to where everybody gets some spells. So from there, you kind of have to pick your partners based on their spell sets and their immunities, and make a decision. So that way, you're not seeing Phoebe taken to the end every single time. And Possum, thanks, shout outs to you. I'll let you take the second half of these flag settings, because you had a lot of feedback to my initial pitch, and I feel like the second half goes to you to kind of say what we're doing here.
Yeah, for sure. So basically, the end of the story to the first half of flags was Hebbings had a wonderful base, but like anything iterative testing is needed to refine something, especially if you're going to put your name on it and put it out for a tournament. And I'm a big believer in that. And Scarcer, because I needed a partner to test things with, ran the FFR side and I ran the FFMQ side, and we tested the heck out of it. The first time we tested any of this, though, we ended up with true chaos flags on the Mystic Quest side from a wrong YAML. Now, let me tell you, that is not a raceable flag set. And holy cow, when I put that in, I was like, hey, so we tested this. And everyone's like, yeah, no, that was not supposed to be tested. Uh, it was like 2 hours of just what is happening? Why is there a door rando? Why is everything shuffled? Why is the giant tree everywhere? Oh, it was
I
terrible.
almost submitted that setting, but I chose not to for sanity.
Thank you for you being so magnanimous. But kind of cleaning that off the table and starting with a fresh slate, if you will, we kind of landed on like, how do you make the Mystic Quest experience not include 15 or 20 minutes of BK mode? That was really the big problem. Is you end up with this setting, which is, well, you get an opening area, and then you just get stuck. Because like on the FFR side, you have, the canoe, and you have the, river to Melmond, and you have all this stuff open up. But on the Mystic Quest side, it's like, here's the Foresta region, and you have like 4 things you can do, and maybe you have like 8 chests total. But on the FFR side, you have like 80. So it was incredibly imbalanced. We had to figure out a way to test it and make it work. And so the river coin was added as a way to open up a second zone. It also fits really well thematically with the river to Melmond and all of that. And then also making sure that the progression balance was changed. Initially, it was set to a 50% progression balance, and it was tuned up to 65%. So it actually created quite a dramatic increase in the playability on the Mystic Quest side to not have 10, 15, 20 minutes worth of just kind of stuck time where you're just sitting there like, this is cool. I guess I'll grind on skeletons in Bone Dungeon, 3 gold pieces at a time and 86 XP. And it's like, no, that's not conducive to good viewing, good playing, good anything. So like there was just a ton of testing, changing the priority settings on like where stuff's going to be located, and then like did anything else need to change other than really opening up areas? And really it didn't need to be modified. It was more like, how do you then solve the alt fiends problem on the FFR side?
Right.
Because when Scar and I were testing, that became a huge problem. Was like, just getting there. You could be level 25, level 30, and Bubbles just shows up and like ruins your life.
Bubbles.
And any number of other things, you know. But the Mystic Quest side, the flags, kind of getting back to that, like the other cool things in there. You have your boss rush at the end, which I personally love. The
Yeah,
first two,
not having to do the expanded dungeon at the
yes,
final castle is always great, and also overworld shuffle is really nice.
yes,
Adds a nice spice of variety to every seed, so that way you're not seeing the same forest, level forest. Bone dungeons start every single AP race.
yeah, and the zones basically being to the point where they will try to find the closest enemy encounter. But sometimes that will scale up. So if you have a certain, like, let's say, zombie formation in a live forest, it will try to find something that's from the Foresta area if it's in your starting zone. But sometimes that doesn't exist. And so sometimes you can get windier region stuff in Foresta, and it can be quite cumbersome to figure out and puzzle your way through it. So there's a lot of different stuff that's kind of thrown into test runners in unique scenarios. But by and large, it's meant to be fairly nice to progress through and not to have too many hitches. The last thing I'll say about the spells, to kind of go into Hibbicks's point about the spell book, is you can still end up with like a Phoebe with life and Blizzard, and that's it, albeit incredibly rare. I've had a seed where she got Blizzard at level 34, had life from the start, and no other spells, and I was like, all right,
Oof.
Phoebe is out. For once
Yeah.
in my life, just not even being considered. Ruben was my MVP that seed, so you know.
At least it wasn't Tristan.
Wildham
Tristan's
made
speed
the
is
label.
incredible, but
Yeah, he's super chunky. He has the most HP at all your partners, and he's super fast. So he's like the world's fastest meat shield partner, which is great in some aspects. But Wild Ham labeled the spellbook shuffle, and I'm quoting here because I'm reading the YAML. He said random balanced. So you take that up with the developer and his coding for that that labeling, that wording.
What is balanced?
Whoa.
Right.
Well, the balance is random, you see.
That's right.
Yeah.
But you got to remember, I mean, listen, as I've heard the alt fiends are on, and I know they're there, and I know there's some feelings about them, so I'm gonna come to my fellow Devs 8 here and be like, come on, we're trying, we're trying.
Yeah, how dare you guys try to make the randomizers better by adding features?
I mean, look, I was about to turn to Scar about this because he played. Apparently, he did a lot of the testing, so I was gonna say, you know. On the FFR side of things, you've made mention Fade. Yes, Fade will do a lot more damage to you than it does to anybody else. But other than that, when you played the seeds through the first time, were there any settings that you're just like, nope, we gotta change this. This can't stay.
So in the first one, the power gauntlets, there was no guaranteed offense spell, and so it was it boiled down to: is there a black belt in the seed? If not, cry, because you're not gonna be able to saber up your melee carry because, well, your mages aren't going to survive because there's with the alt fiend spell pool, there's like no respite. Like, I think the weakest spells are also the least common, whereas in the normal, like the vanilla fiend pool, there's 10 lit twos, and that really softens even the roughest scripts up. There's nothing really like that in the alt fiends.
Correct. I have said before, and I'll say it again. A balance patch is due. It is coming. I promise it's coming. There will be, you know, and of course, as said before, the FF1 bonus pool is tiny. It is the other than the FF2 and the FF3 pool, it's a very small pool. So if it's bad, it draws horrible. But yeah, again, as one of the devs that fixes things, yes, there will be a balance coming to that in the not too distant future. I promise. I'm looking at it. Pinky swear.
You won't be the first dev to throw out a mid-tournament patch. You won't be the last one. I
Oh
promise.
no, we I mean, totally.
It's totally going to be coming in 2026, 2027.
There are other features that'll probably come before that.
Yeah.
To be honest with you.
Well, you guys have kind of touched on it already, but was there anything else that you found in your playtesting that, like, hey, this definitely needs to be on, or no way in heck this can be on, you know?
I think
From what I
did my
recall,
original did my original pitch have chaos animizer turned on, or was it safe? I can't remember. Because I almost turned on chaos and just said let it fly.
From
I
the
think.
Mystic Quest side, it was not chaos.
Okay.
I mean, there are still some situations where you can run into nigh unbeatable things. For example, the twin head wyvern refight or dual head hydra, whichever one's the second one. The second dragon, if it rolls something like Quake and it's a big boy Quake and not a little Quake, you can be looking at like 900 damage across the board. And
Ooh.
good luck getting your main character to the point where they can survive that. You're talking like 30. It's one of those situations where, like, even with kind of the safeties in place, you can still get some really freaky stuff on the Mystic Quest side. It's rare, and even with that, it's probably still doable with like Save the Queen strats and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, look, this is a tournament. It's a showcase of skill. It
Mm-hmm.
wasn't meant to be that easy.
We tell
Look, we
ourselves.
were nice on the FFR side. We gave them hint givers in towns. They don't do anything in AP,
I would
but
say it's AP.
It's
They don't do
AP.
anything.
Now, I was told that there was a pitch made for the FFR side to turn on improved dark and improved poison.
You didn't do that? I'm sad.
they got shut down very, very early before testing.
Yeah, I'm
Those are
not.
such good settings.
I agree. I push
They
for
won't be
them
gone
too.
for long.
Mid patch. So
I think I did forget to mention the limited spell capacity of FFR
Yeah.
side.
you did.
Oh yeah, that sucks. By the way,
Yeah, that very much sucks, by the way.
4
Whose
max
brainchild was that,
casts
and who do I kick out of chat?
and 2 max casts on our hybrid characters.
Do not kick
Yeah.
anybody out of chat. The cropping goes all the crazy when you do. Please, I'm
Hence why
begging
we
you.
were delayed by 3 minutes.
Yes.
there's a malice, which is -4 max MP,
Mm-hmm.
and that stacks with the
Yes.
MP production from the flags.
Yep.
So I had,
Look,
like,
you have
I had like
weapons.
3 seeds in a row where my starting mage had -4 max MP.
You have weapons that cast. You don't need a mage.
Yeah, but that's the curated pool.
The curated pool. The best thing you get off the curated pool is like Quad X. Quad X is
I
very
would say
good.
that
Quad
the
X doesn't
Quad X has
clear
been
all the
nice.
entire
Yeah.
party. Quad X is great. I love
Is
Quad
is
X.
now is our power words at 3 or 6?
3.
Okay.
Yeah.
One of these
Come
days
on,
we'll
we
get
can't be
one.
that nice.
I suppose we can't. No, I mean, to be fair, as was pointed out by the Mystic Quest side, it's a tournament. It's for skills. You gotta show off your skills. This is why I'm not participating in it.
No.
Well, that
No skill. Are you saying you have no skills at FFR?
no
That's
that
what I'm hearing.
no that I'm saying I'm
No,
busy.
that's
I'm busy.
that's what I'm hearing.
How many times have I beat you, sir? How many times have I beat you? Mm-hmm.
See, I decided not to participate because I was going to try and do more on the like getting races set up side of things for a tournament,
And we thank you.
and
You
I'm
get
glad
thrown
I
into
didn't.
Well, we thank you a lot for being the man behind the scenes, doing a lot of legwork.
Mhm.
This is a much different tournament than a lot of us are used to running. AP being a whole other ball of wax that we have to deal with, especially as both restreamers, as people, as runners, just in general. I mean, I still to this day have not run any AP events, not yet.
They're fun. You should.
Everyone says that.
No, it is fun.
I'm sure.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
seriously.
Listen, I'm not saying it's not, and I would have loved to have jumped in here, but coding calls. I must finish the work I have started. Alt fiends are great. Alt fiends just need a little balance, and then we can put a hardcore option in for guys like Ale, who just want to watch the world burn.
Yeah, it would be cool to see the current terrible scripts kept as a hardcore
Yeah.
option.
Yep. Basically, if you want to play hard, you can. Again, it's a tournament. If you really want to play with it, we'll let you play with it. And if Ale wants it, it'll show up.
I gotta say that's my favorite thing about both the communities on MQ and FFR is everything is an option. Like good, bad. It's like oh, we made this terrible thing. It's an option now. Like we have all self-destruct setting in Mystic Quest. Every enemy can blow themselves up kamikaze style at you for their max HP on like turn 1, and you have to puzzle that out.
Wow.
That's a setting we have. That's an option.
Wow.
That's a great setting.
I
I should
love
play
it.
with that sometime.
Wow, I did not
Oh,
know
yeah,
that
no,
was a setting. That is phenomenal. So basically, you could literally walk up in one of the final dungeons and just have someone just go, "Hey,
Yep.
You're dead.
Yeah, bosses are free because there's only one boss, and you have 2 party members, and they can only single target.
They're gonna do
self-destruct.
yeah,
one.
yeah."
So like bosses are free. Like you walk up to Dark King, he goes hi, boom, and he blows himself up, and then his HP overflows your HP values, and it cures you. So that's awesome too.
Oh, so the
Because,
overflow
you
glitch
know,
still exists.
Kind of, yeah. I tested. So when we were betaing those out, I got to test those at like 200% to see if they were clearable. They are. It was pain, but they're clearable. It's doable.
There you go.
The most fun flag that's available that you never see is duplicate. If you have like duplicate and self destruct together, you get like Dark King triplicate itself and then explode on you. That's far less fun.
Yeah, that's a chaos exclusive that won't happen in the safe settings we have for the tournament. Thankfully.
Well, I guess it's kind of odd to go to this 20 minutes into this, but being mostly a Final Fantasy 1 community here, walk us through a little bit of Mystic Quest. Like what all is the game? How do we go about it? What are you guys looking for?
Well, for us, it's mostly key item checks, a lot like FFR. The biggest things that we are also fishing for in Mystic Quest is main character level and partner level in this case, and we're also looking for firepower, much like FFR, but our pools are very limited. So the way the spells work in Mystic Quest is spells are where your main power comes from. You have weapons that can do okay damage and sometimes consistent damage, but they're not great. Like spells do the damage. The problem is the spells are progression gated. So essentially, like you have Quake as a black magic spell, let's say. Quake's usually okay in some Final Fantasy games, some not, but others it's pretty powerful. In Mystic Quest, since it's the very first spell you ever get in the game, it's like scaled to early game, and it never scales up with stats appropriately. So you'll throw out a Quake and it'll do like 400 damage, whereas you toss out a Flare and it'll do like 2,000.
Nice.
So the
Little
dichotomy
difference.
of a little bit. And then consumables are also pretty important too. So there's only 4 consumables because we don't like a lot of things. Too much information. 4 consumables: potions, heal potions, cans of soda, refreshers, and then your carrots, which are seeds. And your seeds literally one use, and it refreshes all of your spell slots, like every single spell. You're back up to full. You could cast out 5 or 6 flares again, no problem. So farming flares or farming GP for those is also, farming seeds. Essentially, you're farming for flares. But farming those consumables is a big thing.
Oh. All right, Oslato. I took my question. It's you.
Oh well, I just went over and looked at some of the FFR flags. I did happen to notice one turned on that hasn't been mentioned. The random night level 4 spell is turned on.
Oh, is that on?
It is on.
It is.
I noticed it and I was like,
I played a half dozen of these and I never noticed that.
take advantage of it. It can be huge. It was designed for that very reason.
And is
last
that
night.
bit of word.
What? It can come in handy.
And
Can. It's a situational thing where maybe it's cure 4, maybe it's life. I don't know. Did you guys allow life
Maybe it's
to
a fire.
Hey now, come on. Let's be fair.
It protects you from nuke. Don't you know that?
That is not true.
no, it doesn't.
It's
It would in Mystic Quest.
true.
Yeah.
So let's see. I'm just going through here. So yeah, you put the level 4 spell on. Your starting level's 5, which isn't bad.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's been
Yeah,
fun.
yeah.
See, we were nice.
2 bonus,
Ish.
two bonuses, 1 malice.
Nothing but nice flags in there.
Oh no, absolutely. I mean,
Mm.
you did put on the improved fire lit ice harm, which is good. But you only gave them life 1 only. Now I would think
Look, they have refresh, flare, black, and guard consumables.
they do, but I was going to say, and Mystic Quest players, correct me if I'm wrong about this, but if I'm not mistaken, the life spell in Mystic Quest is a full cure when it's cast in battle.
Oh,
Yes.
it's more than that. Yeah, it's everything. You bring them back to life, full HP, and if they weren't dead, all their status elements are cured instantly.
Nice.
And you didn't give them the cure life 2 in battle? Odoron, I'm impressed.
That's just too easy.
Although putting the hint givers on is just hilarious. And you also shuffled the towns, except for Corneria.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They get their level 1 spells. Level 2 to 5, they can find them eventually.
And Mermaid Prison is on. Oh, and you turned on.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Mermaid Prison got me a few days ago. I went down there like, I'm gonna find something. I can't open any of these. No DM Superstore is not open.
Superstore is not on. And
what's a superstore?
There are two flags I'm looking at here, one of which I'm very happy about, one of which I'm very sad about. Sad, confused old men is off.
No, that's a good thing.
There was some discussion about whether it should or shouldn't, and the shouldn'ts won out.
And then I laughed because you turned on the Hall of Dragons.
Oh,
Well, they needed somewhere to grind.
Chaos Floor encounters.
Oh yeah, that's terrible. That's annoying. Whoever
That is like you get down there, you've got like 4 heal pots left. Like I can make it.
Oh, you did turn that on. Congratulations. And
Yeah.
It's a shorter twofer. They needed more enemies.
No, we didn't.
So I also noticed that for the Archipelago, you've put shards, gold, and consumables with both rare, legendary, and caster items.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
that's on Archipelago on our side. What about Mystic Quest side? What do you guys have turned on for your stuff?
I mean, realistically, in terms of turned on for AP, we don't have a lot of AP exclusive settings turned on. The biggest thing that Possum mentioned was progression balancing being altered and skewed towards 65 because 50%, like you said, was too lean, and it was essentially just like, I'm not really sending or getting anything. The biggest thing, I don't know, vouch for me, other MQ AP runners. The big thing that MQ does for the FFR side is we basically bankroll them. We're sugar daddies and mamas over here. We open up like 3 or 4 brown boxes, like 5K, 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 2K, 3K. There you go. There's your gold for the whole run, and then maybe a masa. Yeah, if I feel.
I think I had like 20,000 when I left Corneria one day.
Wow.
It's like, I can just do everything I need now.
That's very impressive. It's very impressive.
And here's like 5 heal pots to help you out. That's all you get.
And a house, because the real estate market's trash right
So, how sad does a Mystic Quest player get when they see Aegis Shield, but it goes to the FFR side?
Quite.
A little sad. It's a little sad because that's our only immunity to petrification, which is essentially instant death. And it's like, oh, I needed that.
Yes.
That'd be nice.
As an FFR player, I am also seeing it and very sad because the chances I get a fighter are nil. And then the fact that it's not promoted is also not.
Hey, all you gotta do is get through the Hall of Dragons and find a tail.
Yeah, easy.
Yeah,
And a canal and something to get out there. Yeah.
you're thinking too
Or,
much
you
of
know,
this.
simply
Find a
obtain
floater for your first key item.
Yeah.
In like
Just-
2 minutes.
Yeah.
Get in the air in the first 10 minutes and you're fine-ish.
Yes, it's totally.
You mean it's not gated behind Mac's ship that has the chine that I've got to get into? And yeah.
Look. Positive thoughts. They didn't shuffle the chime access. And
I forgot to do
No, that's
that.
a good flag.
I know.
That should have been turned on.
I would agree with that. But I will say that Bahamut Cardiodoc is on.
Yeah.
So you don't need the floater. Good luck finding it. Now,
I mean, you might need it depending on what
Hey,
towns are
that's
where.
true. That's true. But I would like to say, because again, I've played Mystic Quest, not the randomizer. I've played the game, but I would love to see the floater somewhere around Pazuzu, because that'd be hilarious.
I
No,
think
you
the
want to
big
see it
meme
in the
setting-
tree.
The tree would be funny
Yeah.
too.
I forgot to mention the big meme setting that managed to pass playtesting, and I don't know how. We turned on Crush Shuffle, So all the crest warps are randomized, and you don't know where they're going to go. The big thing about that is Max Pier to get to his ship is in that randomized pool. So like you might have to cut down a random tree in the alive forest to get to Max's ship, or go through someone's basement that you don't normally go to. So that one's a bit of a scavenger hunt, and it removes Mobius Crest as a guaranteed go mode item because now it could be gated behind Libra or Gemini as well. You just don't know until you find it or don't find it.
Yes.
I personally love that because it adds another element of peaking your crest to kind of document either on a notepad or in your head, or talk to your teammate about it so they can help you remember it. What crest is where, so you can kind of archive that. And there's some nuance to that. Like, do you then hint for crests instead of hinting for something else? It adds another element of strategy to it that I've found to be quite enjoyable. It can be frustrating, you might need the Libra crest and it could be buried somewhere like, a floor before Tiamat, and you have to unlock every other thing in the gosh darn world in both worlds to get to it. It's like 16 spheres deep.
Yeah.
We've had those, but it'll be like that sometimes in AP.
Are you talking about the race last night?
No,
you
but
talk about
apparently
that
that happened.
I have heard
Yeah,
rumors that
to
it
me last
happened.
night.
See, I was
Me
going to
and
ask
Dark
something,
Moon.
as being a Mystic Quest player, what do you hint for first? What are you looking for? And in no way am I trying to get information for the match. That starts in 20 minutes? Yeah, no.
I mean,
This is for possum only.
Sure. Yeah. I mean,
No,
it's fine. It's fine. I'll
joking.
answer it. No, I mean, there's a couple big ones early on that you need to be cognizant of. One is the exit spell. If you don't have a partner that has exit on their list, just like telemagic is so important in FFR,
Yeah.
exit is your only way to warp or exit or have any sort of mobility. Plus, on the overworld map in Mystic Quest, if you cast exit, it takes you back to the first zone. In Foresta, so it can help you with your fast traveling as well, or air quote fast travel. So exit, it's such an important spell because of that. Beyond that, it's like, is your partner's floater locked behind, let's say,
Right.
a sword or a bomb? And then if it is, which of the three do you hint for? Because with
Yeah.
progressive stuff turned off, it could be just your mega grenades or your natural logic, your logical bombs. So do you hint for mega grenades and go for the glory, or do you hint for regular bombs? Do you hint for a sword, or do you hint for Excalibur? And there's a lot of kind of RNG in place with it, but it's also we're playing a randomizer, but it's a lot of like hint for your floater, and then I will go and hint for what I need to get your floater because I want to get you in the air as my FFR teammate. I can probably figure out a little more on my end without anything else, but I feel like the floater is a huge time save because of how encounters work in FFR.
Well, I
So
don't know if I'm
there's
happy
your
or sad.
hints.
That's the same thing we're doing. Darn it.
All right, well there you go. Great minds think alike.
I mean, me and Dark Moon run a little fast and loose with ours. We just hold on to our hint points until we're gated by something, and then we hint for something we think is going to give us the biggest opening. I mean, because overworld progression is king in Mystic Quest, and the same thing with FFR. It's basically where can I get to that's the most dense as quickly as possible, and then I just kind of save my points for either missing firepower or missing security at the end. So if there's like a big piece of equipment and I want like a big piece of armor at the end, I'll hint for it. Or for the last couple races I've done with Dark Moon, I actually hinted for flare. I'm like, I need you to find my flare before we hit go mode because I need damage. And it's panned out a couple times, so that's been nice. Is basically like holding on to your hints, playing it close to the chest, so that way we open as few unnecessary chests as possible. Try to save that time there.
Well, and if I recall correctly, it's hints are 10%, so you get 10 hints basically throughout the game if you 100% it.
Yeah.
So you're probably going to get 6 to 8 or something in there. Well then, I think we should probably start ready to wrap this up, Oslaudo, because we've got a race to do here in about 15, 20 minutes.
I got a race to come. I got a race to stream. I got a lot going on. Yes, don't go anywhere, all you lovely viewers, because right after this, we're going to have... Who's running tonight, Jay? Why don't you tell me who's running, buddy?
Oh, yeah. Hey, Possum, why don't you tell them who's running?
Oh yeah, I think we are, friend.
Oh, yeah, I think we are
it's
too.
us.
We
So-
have the lovely Man Bear Possum version 3.0 versus Jackpots and Japes.
Yeah,
Which one
so
is
it's
so?
Possum and Woo Bear, and myself and a local friend here, Juggling Jared.
Can you actually juggle?
Yes,
Okay, good, good. I
and
was
I
gonna
think he
say.
can juggle on a unicycle if I'm not incorrect here.
Okay, now that's not that.
He's in chat,
That's
so he can
impressive.
tell me if we're good or not.
I want to see this. This is important. He will be a guest on the next week's episode.
To juggle, got it.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, we're gonna keep this channel going. We're gonna keep the live stream going while I work in the background. But yeah, basically, we will keep this going and we'll proceed right into the next one. Odoran, I believe you're gonna do comms with me, sir.
I am.
Yeah, so it's gonna be O and O. It's gonna be the Kraken O's in the booth.
That's scary.
Reunited since Fall League. Um, we
But I guess before we hand it on over, do we want to give everyone one chance? Like,
Absolutely, we do.
what's your experience so far? You know, do this again someday, etc. So I'm just going to go in the order on the stream here. Odoron, so far, what's been your experience with the tournament planning here?
So I got brought in after like the Mystic Quest and FFR combo got decided, and I mainly was able to jump in to help like decide on the Final Fantasy flags. And honestly, this is the first time I've done anything like this, and it was a blast being able to get the experience from everyone else who's helping with the tournament and seeing what does work and what doesn't work and for what reasons. It was pretty great.
Cool. Looks like Possum's next up. So how's your experience over here in the FFR Discord been?
Oh, it's been good. I have a ton of experience in other randomizers planning stuff, and that's why, like the iterative testing and whatnot, I'm a huge believer in. Just if I'm going to put selfishly, if I'm going to put my name on something, it better be darn good. So,
Right.
I will work with someone to help test the crap out of whatever it is to make sure that it plays out the way it needs to. So it's been enjoyable. Huge shout outs to everyone who's been a part of it. It's been super cool to work with, to me, fresh faces and to be the fresh face in the room and to hopefully bring my talents, here like LeBron brought his to South Beach.
Well, continuing clockwise then. Not on the committee, Scar.
It's been fun. I like testing things. I like telling people why things are bad or why things are good, and not having to think for myself sometimes. This is it's a fun format, and I'm looking forward to making finals. Easy money.
there you go.
And last but not least, Hevix.
Always a pleasure to work with the FFR our crew. It's basically a sister channel to the Mystic Quest randomizer, especially with how many faces we have between both communities that play both. So myself being exclusively Mystic Quest, I get to collaborate a lot on the charity events and the AP showcases and everything. So it's just like coming to a second home, basically, for me working with the crew here. It's always wonderful.
We love to hear it. We do love to hear the people coming in and really enjoying planning stuff out. And yeah, it's great. I want to thank everyone for coming out and joining us tonight. I know some of you have races, some of you have a lot to do. I know Hoderun's been running like a madman. Jay, you are a madman. I can't wait to see how this turns out. And yes, for everyone who is currently watching, by all means, stay tuned. We will. This feed will, of course, continue, and we'll play some whatever the music's going to be, and you will notice it switch over from the Power Hour to the race preview. But yeah, I hope to see everyone back here. You can just stay tuned, listen to the music. Jay, is there anything we should mention other than the fact we are off next week?
No, so we're going to take next week off for the American Thanksgiving week. Sorry, you Canadians who had it a month ago?
October is
Something like
real.
that?
October is real
Yeah.
Thanksgiving.
So we'll take it off. We'll be back afterwards, hopefully with some marathon stuff to come up with, and then a lot of other things to go on. So we'll see you guys in 2 weeks.
We will indeed. I also will make a mention that our roundtable, I have not sent out the invitation yet because we're not sure what's happening with the marathon thing. Once we have some clearer picture of what we're looking at, expect to see it once again. If you're pro Vorpal, you're more than welcome on my side. If you're anti Vorpal, well, Jay is available.
If you're pro right answer, yeah, you'll get the other one.
With that, I will say that once again, thank you everyone for tuning in. Again, we will be back in approximately for 20 minutes or so with hopefully the match of the night. And with that, again, thank you all for joining us tonight. Thank you to viewers. Thank you to the FFR community for letting us continue to have the show. We really do appreciate it, and we will be back in 2 weeks' time. Until then, he's been Jay. I've been your host with the most, still living on the coast, Oslodo, and I will see you in approximately 20 some odd minutes.